Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. We start our video in a quiet retail store where one woman's shopping trip takes a bizarre turn. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Ma'am, that's not your baby. I haven't worked in retail for over a year now, but some experiences stick with you no matter how much time passes. I was working the register at a local store chain. Nothing fancy, just your average one-stop place for groceries, toiletries, and a random aisle of seasonal junk nobody really needs but still buys. It was mid-morning on a weekday, so foot traffic was manageable. A quiet lull had settled over the store when I first noticed her. She walked in like any other customer, mid-30s, dressed casually, pushing a baby stroller. The stroller was one of those fancy ones, the kind with cup holders, sunshade, and way too much storage space underneath. She looked a little frazzled, but that's not unusual for someone with a young kid. I figured she was just a tired mom trying to get through her errands. About 20 minutes later, I was back at the register when she showed up in my line. She still looked jittery, kind of avoiding eye contact and fidgeting with her wallet. I gave her the usual greeting, "Good morning, how are you today?" But she only gave me a quick nod and didn't say a word. Again, not super rare. People can be in their own heads sometimes, especially parents running on fumes. I scanned her items, nothing out of the ordinary, some snacks, toiletries, a frozen dinner or two. I bagged everything and said, "All right, you're all set. Have a great day." As she turned to leave, she brushed up against the woman standing behind her in line. It wasn't a big bump, but it was loud, really loud. We all heard it. Clink, 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 clink. That unmistakable sound of glass knocking together. Everyone's eyes snapped toward the stroller. The customer she bumped into looked at me, eyebrows raised. I said, "Ma'am, are you sure everything's okay? We all just heard something." Glass? She clutched the handle of the stroller tighter. "It's just my baby's milk bottle," she said quickly, voice shaky. I glanced over at my coworker on the next register. She was already walking towards us. Something about the way this lady answered just didn't sit right. "Can we just take a quick look?" I asked, keeping my voice calm. "No," the woman snapped. "My baby's asleep. Don't you dare wake him." That's when the screaming started. "You people are sick. You're stressing my baby the F out. Who do you think you are, huh? Just because I don't look like you want me to, I'm a thief now?" By this point, customers had stopped mid-aisle to see what was going on. Some people backed away. One woman took her toddler and left the line entirely. My coworker called the manager over, and I picked up the phone under the register and called for security. The woman was still shouting, now pushing her stroller erratically toward the exit, trying to shove past the crowd forming at the front of the store. "Get away from me! I'm a mother! My baby is sleeping!" The automatic doors opened, and she made a break for it. But just as she reached the outside mat, one of our security guys, who, bless him, was built like a refrigerator, stepped in and blocked her path. She tried to dart around him, but another employee came out from the side and stopped her. Eventually, with some coaxing and the very real threat of police involvement, she calmed down enough to let them look inside the stroller. There was no baby. Instead, nestled where a child should have been, swaddled in a soft blanket, were 4 bottles of vodka. Not even the small ones, the big glass bottles, just sitting there like they were tucked in for a nap. I just stood at the register stunned. The absurdity of it, the way she'd screamed about protecting her baby, the fact that the whole store stood frozen watching her go full meltdown over her carefully planned vodka heist. They detained her until the police arrived, and she was taken out the proper way, not through the automatic doors, but handcuffed through the side employee exit. The story spread through our store like wildfire, and for the next few weeks, every time someone even touched a stroller in the aisle, someone else would joke, "Better check that baby, might be absolute in there." I've had my fair share of retail weirdness, but that one takes the cake. Or I guess the bottle? Geez, if you're gonna try and smuggle glass bottles or something out of the store in a baby stroller, then at least bring an extra blanket and pack it between the bottles to stop them from hitting against each other. You've already got the stroller, so it's not like it's much of a stretch to have another blanket. And our second story. I'm an IT consultant, not a magician. Closed office means closed computers. It finally happened to me as well. First post here. For context, I'm working as an IT consultant, and my current project is at this public institution place that provides social assistance, financial help, etc. for people in need. I work purely in the IT department, working on some software. I have no contact at all with clients coming for help to the institution. Anyway, I was leaving the building after a long day at work and long over closing time. I was heading to the main entrance because that's closer to the parking spot I left my car at, and saw an older lady trying to look inside through the glass doors. I opened the door to go out, not really thinking what the lady was doing, and as I set the first step outside, this lady pushed me back in and told me she needed to use a computer. She couldn't get in because the doors get locked at night unless you have a card to leave or enter. There's a basic computer corner for people to use, but it's only available during opening hours, and access has to be asked at the reception, which was of course also closed. At first I was thinking about leaving this lady behind and just heading out, but after all it was me who let her in, so if something happened I could be held responsible. This is how the conversation continued. Me: "Sorry miss, but this place is closed." Lady: "It's just for a second, I need to check something on the computer." Me: "But the computers aren't even on. You can't use them outside opening hours." Lady: "Don't you work here? Turn them on." Me: "I can't do that. Only people at the reception can, and they already left." Lady: "Why can't you do that? You work here, so you should help us." Me: "I work on other stuff. This is not something I can help you with. See, I'm in the..." Lady: "Then get someone who's more useful than you. Are you a groundskeeper or what?" Me: "I'm not supposed to call anyone. You should leave and come back when the place is open for the public again." Lady: "Then call your boss or I'll file a complaint and get you fired." Me: "That's not how it works here. This is not a grocery store. Just come back tomorrow morning." Lady: "I won't. I'm going to check something on the computer." Me, having my phone out but lying: "Okay, I'll call the boss, but my phone signal's bad here. Let's step outside and receive a better signal." As I stepped outside, the old lady followed me. I get her far enough from the door as it closed right behind her. I put my phone back, told the lady the opening hours were written on the wall, and wished her a good night. As I head towards my car, I could hear the lady pulling and pushing the doors without any signs of opening while screaming at me for a bit. I don't know if she'll return tomorrow, but I hope she'll be in a better mood, or I already feel bad for the person having to take care of her. I'd have tried to tell her she's trespassing, and I'm going to call the police if she doesn't leave the premises at once. And our last story. Karen, the Mad Watcher. All names have been changed so that no future Karen decides to sue me for besmirching her pristine Karen-esque reputation. And frankly, because I never want to relive an HOA drama of millennial proportions. I live in a quiet suburb of a small California town. Our house sits on a corner lot that borders a gated community. The community has its own HOA, helmed by the legendary Mrs. Karen, a 45-year-old divorcee living off monthly insurance payouts from some long-ago accident that, according to half-hour neighbors, she survived only in her dreams. Karen hobbles around with one leg wrapped in an elastic bandage as if she broke it yesterday, though rumor has it the wrap comes off whenever she slips into heels for church. No one calls her on it, outright. The woman loves dialing 911 as passionately as I love my morning coffee. From day one, Karen tried to drag me under the HOA's iron heel. The catch is that my lot isn't legally part of her realm. The former owner detached it from the developer's tract before the association was formed. To Karen, my situation is a splinter in a perfectionist's finger. I'm technically a neighbor, yet her rules don't apply to me. She tried everything: friendly letters ordering me to repaint the fence and the official bone beige, complaints about my unapproved Christmas lights, even offers to buy my property for mutual benefit. Amusingly, mutual in her vocabulary always meant her. She declared open war after she happened to glimpse my daughter, Lily, at her bedroom window. Lily was lighting 2 lavender vanilla candles on the sill. Peering through her bird-watching binocular, Karen saw the flames and decided she'd found proof that a teenager was smoking weed. Half an hour later, Officer Jenkins showed up, printout in hand, anomalous video footage sent by concerned neighbor. The clip showed Lily flicking a pink lighter, waiting for the wick to catch. The weary cop's face was priceless. "Ma'am, if Bath & Body Works sold marijuana, Santa Clara'd be Amsterdam, and I'd be the mayor." We thought that was the end. Nope. The next morning, Karen mounted a new toy on her yard post, a PTZ camera with a hefty zoom. Easily a $1,000 rig pointed straight at Lily's window. The red LED blinked like it was saying, "Smile, kid, Big Brother's watching." I could have shrugged it off, but that evening Lily came to me in tears. "Mom, I can't change clothes in my own room. She's watching." It wasn't the candles or the silly accusation that boiled my blood. It was the invasion of my child's privacy. California Penal Code 647J makes it illegal to aim a camera into a place where someone reasonably expects privacy. Karen, however, interpreted the law as loosely as she does her injured leg. I dialed the HOA number for Magnolia Ridge, but surprise, the call routed to Karen's house. She's the three-headed dragon, president, treasurer, and secretary. Complaining to her about herself? Pointless. Time for a tiny detail Karen knew nothing about. My husband, Mike, is a firefighter paramedic, and his father, Colonel Tom O'Hara, retired, was chief of police in a town 20 miles away, and still has bulletproof connections. Not a card you play first. Nobody likes a "do you know who my dad is" flex. But when your kid's in pajamas on a stranger's PTZ feed, etiquette takes a back seat. We chose Karen's favorite game, meticulous rule following. First, I printed every internal HOA document from its website. Clause 12B stated cameras may record only the owner's property. Any other direction is a violation. Karen's camera covered my facade, driveway, front lawn, plus our second floor window. I filed a complaint to the board, read her mailbox, attaching a screenshot with the coverage area highlighted neon green and a polite note, "Please bring your equipment into compliance or we'll escalate." Stage 2 was illumination. Since the HOA requires porch lighting for safety, I installed a floodlight on our roof with a motion sensor tuned to the camera's motor. Whenever her lens turned towards us, the light blasted on, turning her viewfinder into a surreal whiteout, like Lily lived inside the sun. Joke number 1, Karen, if you want to stargaze, you should have bought a telescope, not a PTZ. Karen howled. On night 3, she pounded on our door. "That floodlight blinds my camera." "How shocking. Why does your camera need to look into my window?" I replied with my best Mary Poppins serving arsenic smile. "HOA rules forbid trespassing past property lines." "It's evidence your daughter's doing something illegal." "Illegal to keep scented candles in a bedroom?" "Sure. Then IKEA's an interstate cartel." She slammed the door before I could offer a coupon. Meanwhile, my father-in-law called a sergeant friend from cybercrimes. Plainclothes, he interviewed Lily, snapped photos of the camera over the fence, and confirmed the 647J breach. Procedure simple. Victim statement, evidence, warrant, equipment seizure, then the DA decides on charges. We opted for civil action, low noise, maximum impact. The trickiest line on the form was emotional damages. My father-in-law jokingly suggested writing that Lily can now gaze only at candles labeled anxiety relief. A week later, Karen received notice of our civil suit, invasion of privacy, plus demand to remove the camera. By then, the bank was already nipping at her heels over a late mortgage. Insurance checks apparently went to plastic flamingos and pumpkin spice lattes. Her lawyer offered a neighborly settlement, $1 or $2 grand. Ours smiled. "Madam, the price of teen trauma is an unpredictable beast. Sometimes it eats Teslas." While the case crawled through court, I went into weaponized compliance. I signed up to speak at the HOA meeting as an interested party under Clause 12B. The board, Karen plus 2 rubber-stamping seniors, had to endure me reading their own rule aloud and proposing a budget cut for camera upgrades, since they clearly couldn't name them properly. Joke number 2, kept to myself. Cameras are eyes, the HOA's the brain. If the brain's in bandages, better stick with crutches. The finale came fast. The judge saw the photos and ruled that Karen had captured a zone of reasonable privacy, violating the statute. She was fined, ordered to cover our legal costs, dismantle the camera, and issue Lily a written apology. The note was 3 lines long, like a hostage message. "Sorry for your suffering. Won't happen again. Karen." The compensation, however, was hefty, $26,000, and the court fine and her overdue mortgage, and the puzzle clicked. 2 months later, Sierra Star Bank listed Karen's house at auction. She moved out earlier, limping theatrically to her sister's blue Honda Odyssey with 2 suitcases and a crate of potted plants. The neighborhood exhaled as if a foul wind had finally passed. The new owners are a young tech couple. Their only request is that we share apricots from the tree on the lot line. They removed the camera on day one. Mike and I brought them a basket of pies and jokingly asked if they planned to spy on our second floor. The guy laughed, "Only if you build an open-air cinema and screen Star Wars." The end. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.